I am. How are you? See, we're doing this. We're finally getting a coffee. We're at Las Café Bicyclette, French, one of the best coffee spots here in Edmonton. And yeah, it's been, we've been watching each other on LinkedIn for so long.
I know.
And now we're here.
Now it's you.
We're here in person. You know what? I'm just gonna go with Americano.
I have a double espresso, please.
Double espresso.
And I'll take this one.
You got it?
Absolutely.
He has it. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for that.
So yeah, it's amazing sitting down with you. Honestly, so basically what's been happening is you've been watching me on LinkedIn, I've been watching you on LinkedIn.
Very true.
And now today this is the beauty of LinkedIn, because it's a gateway. Now we can actually meet each other in person.
Absolutely, 100%. And actually it's another proof that everything is human to human. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're B2B or B2C. But Sean, it's a great pleasure to actually meet you in person.
Absolutely.
Know more about you and where you want to take things and the trend and everything that's going on in the market for sure.
Absolutely. It's funny because here in Edmonton, I don't get to talk to too many people who are as in depth into marketing as you. So I'd love to. I don't know what your agenda was, to be honest with you, with this. But what I want to do is get really deep into marketing and what the future of marketing might look like, and I have my own thoughts on platforms, technology, people, content. So yeah, that's where I want to take it.
And you know what? Same here, but I'm sure today I'm going to learn a lot of new things from you as well, because I've been following you on LinkedIn and I know exactly like your message and your platform, and I love your message about transformation.
Yeah.
Because I think this is how everything starts, with transformation and somehow dealing with disruption.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you.
Let's do it.
So let me ask you about disruption. In your mind, there's a lot of hype around disruption and all these technologies disrupting every industry. In your mind, like, what does disruption really mean to you, and how are you sort of seeing it manifest, like, with clients maybe that you're working with?
Okay, so let me just speak more about who we work with, right? So we work with B2B organizations, and one of the things that we noticed lately with them, that if they start doing marketing and selling like the traditional way of doing marketing and selling, they will eventually be disrupted due to things that I'm sure, Sean, you know about, which is the buyer behavior is changing dramatically, and the technology around us. It doesn't matter if you're in tech or not in tech, we're all, at the end of the day, in the media business.
Yeah.
We're all marketeers at the end of the day. So B2B organizations who didn't follow this kind of wave of change, they will be disrupted by all means. So this is kind of what we have been seeing lately, working with organizations either in Canada or the US. So what we do is we try to go back and think about what is the company all about and how we can help them ride this wave, but also be more meaningful to their clients and their market and their prospects.
Yeah. So what technologies have you seen that have sort of disrupted your clients the most?
You know what? I think one of the main things is Internet of Things. This is actually kind of affecting a lot of clients right now, because everybody's speaking about it, but it's only few that start thinking about it and start executing and planning on what will be the next year or 2 years. To me, looks like. The other thing is, of course, AI, artificial intelligence. And as marketeers, as a modern marketeer, you need to think about, so how can truly AI influence my sales process and actually my marketing as well? So those are things that we're trying to help our clients with when they're thinking about how can we bring marketing and sales together.
And so then what about you guys, like your group, and how you're sort of dealing with disruption?
Oh, like for Flawless?
Yeah, for Flawless.
Thank you. So I think one of the main things we don't want to call ourselves a marketing agency, because we want to see ourselves more as a professional service organization who help into building marketing and sales for organizations.
Sure.
So a disruption to us is we can't just focus anymore about SEO and ranking and websites. Like we need to think bigger than that.
Sure.
So how can we enable ourselves to help our clients? So one of the things we start investing in is data, analytics, and being a data-driven organization. This is something new that we're actually applying inside of Flawless Inbound to help into taking meaningful decisions and looking to the future in a different way.
So this is the problem that I have with many agencies and marketing firms, and this is where I see a lot of problems, you have all these, and I think I explained to you this on the phone in preparation for this call, but somebody who's part of Deloitte, we played at the management consulting level. We want to be more of a creative consultancy, so we, bought up all these marketing firms to become a creative consultancy, and we wanted to own the conversation around digital transformation, right? Okay, so that's one side of things. Then you have these marketing firms that they played around, they were all about, SEO and brand and messaging and positioning, and that's what they were all about. They also own the conversation around digital, because 5-6 years ago, digital was all about media and channels and platforms and all that kind of stuff. And so now that the conversation around digital is all about transformation, not only within the what I call experience side of things, but it's about your entire organization.
Correct.
Marketing firms are now saying that we can actually transform entire operations, organizations. They can look inside finance and procurement and do things, and they're sort of moving up and becoming management consultancies, and you have management consultancies becoming these creative consultancies, and now everybody is actually a creative consultant. Yeah. And we know in business that this is the most dangerous place to be in, be in the middle.
Correct.
Is that it's a dogfight, and everybody's trying to say that they are the transformation leaders. They are the digital transformation leaders. This is a very dangerous place to be in.
It is.
So how do you, how can you? So because now you compete, do you actually see the Accentures, the Deloittes of the world being your competitors?
I can see this very soon, especially with our conversation we had that we want to see Flawless Unbound going nationally but also international. I think one of the main things that everybody wants to speak about transformation, but it's really very hard to stay in that zone forever. It's like everybody wants to go to heaven but nobody wants to die, right? So it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So the way how Flawless Unbound think about it is actually in a way that how can we be more relevant to the business that we're in. So we're more revenue-driven professional service.
Got it. Okay. Revenue-driven, so the cost side, somebody else can do that.
Correct. We're more focused on revenue. So when we have a conversation with a leadership team, CEO, CMO, VP of sales, the first question we ask them is, where do you guys want to be in revenue in the next 18 to 24 months?
Got it.
And if you didn't change, if you didn't transform how you do things, and just kind of organic growth, where are you going to be?
Right.
What is that gap? And what's your plan as a CEO or a CMO to actually help in bringing that gap? And this is now where the interesting conversations start happening. Now it goes into workflow, playbooks, as you know, quarterly plans, but then the devil is in the details, and this is where you start executing on that plan and doing A/B testing and understanding, are we doing conversion or not, and then applying all the new transformational things like AI and machine learning and other things in everything you're doing.
So, but if you're a client, isn't it very confusing to be in the marketplace and figuring out who do I get to help me with to grow?
Totally.
Do I get these traditional management consulting firms? Do I get these marketing firms? Do I go to the freelancer marketplace where you have all these people, you can go to Upwork and get anybody on the crowd to do anything for, radically cheaper costs. You can go to Fiverr, there's a whole marketplace where people do things for $5.
Yeah.
Like it's very confusing for a client.
It is. And I think this is back to, as a client, if I want to put myself in the client's shoes, I think how I think about it is, what am I good at? What's my core business? And what am I willing to outsource or out-task?
Yeah.
And then to who? Right? So I think it goes back to the why, how, and what.
Yeah.
So what's your core business? Is your core business building software? Is your core business building buildings? Or is your core building in the transportation sector? So then you can say, okay, that's my core business. Maybe I have a marketing manager who is working with me on the day-to-day operation, but where can I find people that actually can take me to the next level? Does that make sense?
Totally.
And then from there, this is kind of, if they decided to go with an organization like, Flawless or an MCM Consulting, then this is where we go in and say, okay, how can we help you get there? So I think the conversation needs to be more tied towards numbers.
Okay.
This is kind of how we at least engage with organizations, right? So where do you want to be a quarter from now? Where do you want to be 3 quarters from now? Where do you see yourself 3 to 5 years from now? And also, do you understand that when we say there is transformation in the market, that your potential buyer are actually buying in completely a different behavior? Do you understand that there is a digital footprint if somebody's looking for a solution, there's a way for you as an organization to understand and connect the puzzle to know exactly what they're searching for.
Sure.
Is there a way that your marketing department and sales department actually truly align together? And there's a way for them to work better together. And there's a way actually to communicate together. So those are the things that then we go deeper into conversation with clients around. If that makes sense.
You know what? I know you had a couple things that you wanted to ask me here. I was interested to figure out like what you came here prepared.
I'm just trying, and I know I'm meeting with Sean, so I need to be prepared as well, right?
So what are some of the things that you wrote down?
So one of the things is like what we're seeing right now is there's a big difference between transactional customers versus consultative customers. So Sean, like I know you've been engaged with a lot of organizations and in previous background.
So define to me what you term as transactional customers.
So transactional customer is somebody who wants to buy something online and he just asks you specific questions and they go away and they shop around and they do things.
Sure.
Consultative customers is they take a longer process into educating themselves.
Sure.
And then they engage with the organization. So tell me your perspective on that. Like how do you see this changing?
I think the middle is going to be. I don't think there's going to be a middle anymore. I think, in my mind, if you think about what the future of even marketing looks like, I think the things that we don't care about, we're just going to say, you know what, we don't care about that stuff. We're just going to let somebody else figure that out. It's a transaction. We don't care about the brand.
Fair enough.
We don't care about what it is. We just want the lowest cost, lowest price. We just want that to happen. I'll give you an example of this. So, you think about voice and how voice is going to disrupt everything. You can go on if let's say you wanted a cup or you wanted batteries, you can just go, hey Amazon, or hey Google, can I just get batteries? Can I get a cup? And they'll just bring you that cup the same day.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring that up is that you don't care about the cup or the brand of the cup, right? Same thing that you like. I need a photo done. Do you really care about the brand of the people that are actually making the photo?
No.
You probably don't care.
Yeah.
So you're just going to get whoever.
Totally.
And I think there's an entire marketplace where that's a dangerous place to be, and you're just
Correct.
you're
Commodity.
It's a commodity. And then you have what you call consultative, right? Where brand actually matters. Where whether you're buying a shirt and you want to feel good in that shirt. There's certain companies that can help you feel that certain way, from a consulting firm, from a marketing firm as well. Like I think if you want to really get an amazing organization to help you, because you know that they're gonna help you along the journey, then I think those people will always be in business. And there's not going to be a middle. You either don't care and just want the lowest price, or you care a ton and you want to do some research. I'm really into I love drones, right? So I will look into the drones,
the functions,
and the functions, and and the details of the drone, but because I care about it, right?
Correct.
I want to be informed as a consumer about what the best drones are, and so I will spend the time to do that.
Correct.
But if I wanted if I wanted batteries, I don't care. I'm just going to go to the shop and pick it up.
Yes.
So there's no middle.
Yes.
You care or you don't.
Yeah. It's 0 or 1, right?
And I think with all this technology, with all this noise and content and products and services, it's now if you're in the middle, it's very dangerous.
What are
your thoughts on this?
I like that so much, and this is kind of when we speak to our clients, we tell them, guys, listen, you're not the Microsoft or the Cisco or the Amazon or the Ubers yet. So when you think about your brand, sure, think about your brand, but more importantly, think about the customer needs. Yeah. And so this is kind of how you would start connecting with the customers and their pain points. And then at some point in time, eventually you will tell your brand story. So try to fix your customer problem first before you think about your brand. And I'm glad you're kind of understanding it's either 0 or 1.
But why are you saying that you need to figure out the customer problem? I think you have to do it in parallel. I think you should be building your brand right away and also solving problems. I don't think there's any.
There's no place in the middle, I guess, to do it.
Unless you don't care about making a brand, and you just want to solve a customer problem at the cheapest possible way.
Correct.
I think you either have to play on two sides.
You know what? I think you're right, because like we all know about the golden circle, like the why, how, and what. So you build the why, how, and what for your organization, but also you build the why, how, and what for the prospect that you're trying to attract to your organization. So somehow the magic bridge is connecting your why with their why.
Sure.
So I think from that perspective, if you approach it this way, then you're building a brand.
Can I just, you brought up Simon Sinek, the why, a couple times.
Sure.
You love it. You love this why.
I love it. I love it so much.
So let me challenge you on this thing.
Sure.
Listen, I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek too. I agree that why is very important. I agree that purpose is very important. But part of my job in consulting was to walk into organizations and to ask, inevitably you'll ask interview questions.
Yes.
And every client that you go to, you'll ask, okay, so what is the purpose of this organization? What is the objective of this organization? And every time that I ask that, what is the purpose of this organization? What do you think the objective is or the outcomes of this organization? Everybody in the organization will have a different answer. They will not know what the why of this organization is. Maybe it's because I work with only big companies, and maybe that's the reason.
Yeah.
But everybody had a different reason as to why that organization exists. And to me, there's something actually more important than why. It's actually play. It's actually hunger. It's the ability to experiment, to be hungry, to learn new things, and that's why people come to work. That is why people do what they do. Especially in big organizations. Now, in smaller organizations, that culture, that why, is still embedded in the fabric of the DNA of the culture. But sometimes that's lost at the end of it.
Yeah.
So, the reason why I love working at Deloitte is I didn't know what the why was, but the reason why I love working there is because I get to work with really smart people and we get to try stuff. No? So play is actually more, what I'm trying to argue with you is that purpose and
better,
purpose
or more focused than just the why of the organization.
Okay, why changed?
Yeah.
Because if you look at somebody like Amazon,
Correct.
They used to sell books, and if they said that, we're going to be the best bookstore in the world, like now there's, and they're selling everything. There's every industry. They're doing AWS.
Correct.
That wasn't part of what their why was.
No.
And they were able to evolve.
Yes. That's
so
very true.
why do we say that why is so goddamn important?
You know what? I think you're right. You're right in one perspective. I think you're right in one perspective. But I think maybe for smaller organizations, because the team is still connected, you need to align them to just one direction. But yes, as the organization grows, you start attracting maybe different kind of rock star, and each one of them is having his own play. So then this is how you energize yourself to be part of a bigger organization, to kind of move in your department to the next level. But then the key challenge is how then the leadership team can align all the line division managers, and this is...
I agree, you still need alignment, you still need vision, you still need the why, but we get to keep focusing on the purpose and the why. It's like, great, we got the why.
Correct.
Done.
Yeah.
Now let's focus on the play.
Yeah.
And because I don't think people really, I don't know, but I don't think people, you have these lofty vision statements that people have, like sometimes people don't really believe it.
I agree.
So it's like, I don't know. This is my whole thing.
But don't you agree also that, so this is more of, let's say, a founder, CEO vision of, okay, this is where we're going to take the company 20, 25 years from now, which is, by the way, it's a long time, because as individual, we can only connect to what's happening in the next 6, 12, 18 months, not 10, 20 years.
Sure.
So maybe it's more of, let's start first with the end of the tunnel where things are going, but then individually, what's my play in that? And that's kind of, I think, how we can connect the why with the play. But I think like I like your approach on that there's a big difference between the why and a play, because the play is more individual based, the why is more maybe corporate based, and maybe the connection between the play and the why is continuing the excitement into doing things differently.
Yeah.
And being brave enough to try new things and then go back and adjust as you go and check your learning.
You know what? It's funny because I think, especially in big organizations, if you talk to the people on the front line, it's so disconnected. The vision is sometimes very disconnected.
I'm coming from maybe a similar background, because I worked at Cisco Systems for 9+ years of my life, and I learned a lot. Very grateful for the organization, and I think one of the things that I can see is how we can actually help smaller organizations to get to that level, and how we can maintain the momentum to get things to that level. One of the challenges we're facing right now with some clients is they're saying, okay, how can we have our marketing department accountable for revenue? Like, so back to transformation, right? So what's the difference between building a fancy website and speaking about SEO and creative, and how can I see the ROI in 6 months to a year from now?
Yeah.
So this is some of the things that, from a transformational perspective, as Flawless and Bound, we're trying to connect the dots, and we're trying to actually create playbooks to apply it and customize it towards organizations and individuals as well.
So I love the concept that you brought up. Marketing as sort of that revenue center and creating. Because a lot of people think of marketing as a cost center, right?
Yeah.
But the way that some organizations have developed their marketing units, that's really been the engine for growth within many organizations.
Totally.
And I think content, for example, content marketing has been such a fuel for that. And I'd love to get your opinion on like what the future of content looks like and the future of retention. And
you know what, we're learning as we go, right? And what we have been seeing so far is that we started first 4 years ago with the traditional thing, which is blog writing. And then case
That's
studies.
how you started?
Well, this is how we started.
Oh, wow. Okay,
4 years ago, we're mainly focused on blog, website, and SEO, right? But nowadays, we're actually looking into interactive content. We start tapping into video landing pages, transparent video, where you're watching a video, you want to engage with the organization, you fill in a form. Then there's a follow-up that happens. And so we're building a marketing automation tool and having the video as a core component of that. So think about, you start from blogging 4 years ago into video as a core component of where things eventually will be going. And then we're going deeper into AI and chatbot and how AI can streamline sales process on one side. And then lead scoring and how marketing can actually automatically score if you're reading a blog, and then you follow up with an email. Did you open the email or not? And so those are kind of reports that we're enhancing for our clients to test and see if the content we're putting out there is making sense or not.
So my question is, do you think the future is more video? Is it more blogs? Is it more, what is it? What is the future?
You know what?
In your mind?
I think the future is a combination of things. I think video, everybody had been speaking about video 4 years ago. When I was at Cisco Systems, Cisco said that video is almost 80% or 95% of the internet bandwidth. That was like even 7-8 years ago. I think the future is, what I'm seeing with all our clients, is how we can not only grab attention, but how we can be still personal in this multi-medium or multi-stage approach of selling. And we stay personal in our communication with them. So it doesn't matter if it's going to be video, if it's going to be LinkedIn, if it's going to be Facebook, it's a blog, it's a white paper, it's an interactive whiteboard, it's VR. It's, at the end of the day, I think how we can stay personal while there's a lot of digital disruption happening in the middle between me and you. I want to still be personal, connecting with you, Sean, so then you can believe that Flawless and Bound can help you. For example.
And I think all those ways certainly help. A lot of people ask me what the future of attention looks like, and I think it's everything that you talked about. I think it's everything. It's more social, it's more blogs, it's more video, it's more long form, it's more audio, it's everything, so that the audience or your customer has different ways of interacting with you. I think that's really important. For me, in terms of building my personal brand, for example, just as an example,
I connect with you on LinkedIn because of your video, right?
Video. Yeah, you know me through LinkedIn. Lots of other people might know me from my podcast or Facebook or other ways. And really, it's through different forms. Like video has been huge for me.
Totally.
And obviously, I'm a huge proponent of it. And I want to double down on video and video content, because I recognize that not that many people are good at video. I think that I'm decent on video, and so I want to double down on the things that I'm good at. I love writing, but it takes me about a month to write a good one paragraph.
Yes,
really. So I think that's part of it too. Is like some organizations have to, and people have to figure out what are they good at in terms of content, because you can do everything, and how do you actually double down on the things that you're actually good at?
So I'll ask you a question then, just continuing on that. So as you know, we're focused on B2B organizations, and we're helping only B2B. That's kind of our core focus. So how would that play then inside a B2B organization when sometimes you have a multi-decision making process. So think about your company A. You're trying to sell products and services to other companies.
Yeah.
So you have a multi-decision making process. You have multi-persona that you want to attract. So from your perspective, working with a lot of clients, like how would this reflect on the playbooks and the video that you guys will be creating and consuming?
You know, I think I think some people, when they think about the sales process, they'll always think about that one decision maker and how do we attract that one decision maker. I love that you sort of mentioned that there's other people part of the decision. You know how people make decisions within organizations? They get in a room with a whole bunch of people and they say, should we use this vendor or not? Should we go and use this platform or not? Should we buy this piece of software or not? It's not one person making a decision, it's a group of people making that decision. And I think the failure that we have in terms of sales is that we always focus on that one person. When if you can actually build a movement within an organization, across the organization, whether it's your like finance group or whether it's your CMO or your CEO or CIO or whatever, if they're all coming to the table and saying yes, we need to do that, then I think that's where content can play its part. You know, I don't know why we don't take a B2C approach in B2B. Like the fact that you can go on Facebook and put an ad out and really target the company that you want to work at and say, hey, Wayward Steel, like, did you guys know that, this is what we offer, and did their CMO know about this? And you can target that to everybody that works at Wayward. They'll send that up to the CEO. And you think the CEO is just making a decision like in a box? They're making a decision with everybody on their team. And I think my whole notion is like, when we created proposals, what we would do is we would try to make our proposals go viral within the organization. So we made them so beautiful, so elegant, so compelling that somebody would get this website, they would get this digital product, and they would say, even if it was like not related to what they were doing, they would say, hey, did you see what these guys did? And then they would pass around the entire organization.
Share it.
So my whole thing is like, how can you actually create a movement within a particular organization in order to sell in a better way? And I think that's what we did at Deloitte that really well. We saw our conversion rates on proposals go up because creative was the variable.
Correct.
Like we started to do things that were really elegant and compelling that created a movement. And to me, that's actually taking a B2C approach, mindset.
Yeah, and then plugging it into a B2B zone.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We're all humans at the end of the day,
totally.
right?
Totally.
We're all on like social.
Yeah.
We're all on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and so that's my opinion on it.
Sean, I love what you're saying. So kind of in summary, so you're saying, hey, at the end of the day, it's human to human. We have seen B2C success in those kind of things. So why can't we borrow some of the aspects and apply it to a B2B environment? And I think it makes perfect sense. I totally agree with you. And I think one of the things that we are seeing working with clients is when you are in a B2B organization, usually it's like 3 to 7 decision makers that are actually involved in if you're selling a multi-year contract. And so somehow, how can I group them and start building different components so that each one can consume a different aspect of the marketing that you're bringing in? So maybe a CEO does have only 5 minutes, he want to watch a video. But a CFO, he want to see a TCO or an ROI, so he's more analytics. Maybe a CIO want to see a proof point. Maybe a chief security officer, they want to say, what's the next generation of this chief security officer as a role? And how this organization can help me. So somehow building a campaign with a multi-decision making and a multi-playbook in it, I believe that's exactly where we should be.
And one way of doing all that in one go, the greatest marketing tactic on the planet to just...
One minute? I'm not correct here, just 1 minute?
It's taking the CEO, the CMO, the CIO, all those decision makers, taking them to a bar and getting everybody drunk.
Okay, I should remove that.
That is
I like it. Yeah.
I think we talk about all this stuff, digital and content.
Absolutely.
And we often forget that some of the best deals are made like just connection and actually going out, having a meal together, going on a trip together.
Yeah.
What I'd love to do is if I'm in a position to have a multi-million dollar deal, I'm just going to take everybody on a boat. We're just going to go to
for one
Monterey
day,
and just like hang out.
So would you invite me then on this?
Absolutely.
Okay,
you on a boat.
I love it.
That's I've been waiting for you to
Awesome.
come.
Cool. No, I like that. I think that makes perfect sense. Have you heard about account-based marketing?
I have heard about ABM.
Tell me your perspective on that.
I think one of the beauties of account-based marketing is the level of focus around account-based marketing, and the fact that you can be super targeted around who. This is the problem with many organizations. They want to serve everyone.
Totally.
And if you actually have a focus, I think that's important. But these concepts are not different. In my opinion, why can't you take your B2C sort of model around marketing and apply it to ABM?
Yeah. Actually, it is applicable to ABM, and you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
You know what? And back to your question about transformation, I think one of the main things that we as Flawless Inbound are doing is the traditional inbound funnel.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a funnel, right?
Yeah.
So that's the traditional inbound funnel, which is everybody's doing right now. We're saying, okay, if everybody's doing that, then you're already out of the game. So what we're doing lately is we're flipping the funnel to build the ABM for B2B organizations.
Right.
That's one of the new things we're actually applying as of 2018 and moving forward. So we're kind of the first organization in Canada trying to educate CMOs and CEOs and executives on how can you apply ABM into your organization to be able to attract or the big contracts that you wanna apply. So which is exactly what you're saying. Focused, have a predefined list, understand the decision makers, and then start building the human connection from there. And then eventually when marketing hand off to sales, this is where the personal relationship happen and
totally
the boat event will come and this is how ABM works together, I guess.
No, I think you're right. There's so many ways of going about marketing and sales, and the whole game is completely changing because of AI and because of content and people always wonder, all this disruption, is it really impacting me? Is it really impacting what I do? Like, in marketing and sales and advertising and all that kind of in that realm, like now we're a duopoly, right? Google and Facebook now dominate like 90% of ad spend. It's almost like people don't realize like the changes that have happened because of the phone. Totally. They're almost like, yeah, this disruption stuff, whatever. But it's like that's where all the ad spend is going. Like,
correct.
And especially from a digital perspective.
So thank you, brought this up. So my question to you is, again, you working on your level with the organizations. Where do you see AI applying into a traditional organization? Like how can a traditional organization think about applying AI to transform their business?
Well, I think the way that we were sort of applying it, and it has nothing to do with advertising. I don't know if you're actually asking about advertising, but I think before you actually get to AI and machine learning, I think one of the gateway drugs to get there, it's called robotic process automation, RPA. It's not even smart bots, it's dumb bots. Yeah. It's automating existing processes, whether your processes are shitty or not, it's starting with that. There's a lot of software vendors that are doing this AI, UiPath and Blue Prism and whatnot. A lot of organizations have seen this as the gateway drug to get into machine learning and artificial intelligence. So they would go in their finance processes and they would take like a process and they would automate it through RPA. And again, like it's just doing a lot of the manual stuff that you do within organizations and applying technology to it. And these technologies are getting smarter, and then also you're seeing people see how they can start getting into this thing called machine learning and AI, and they're not there yet, but this is how you can do it. Not to say that RPA is even easy. A lot of people think that machine learning is like plug and play and you can just put it in and it will just work. It's not like that. You still have to you have to have a great data. You still have to configure. It's still a lot of hard work. Ask how many organizations are actually deploying machine learning at scale. Like, not that many. And so to me, like the RPA stuff, it's almost. I'm in consulting. I've never seen something with a better ROI than robotic process automation. Period. You automate a process, and you can eliminate the human task associated with that automatically. They can log into different systems, and it's the gateway drug.
That's interesting. I'm learning something here. I've never heard of this before.
Yeah.
So you think that this is kind of the entry into kind of taking them to the next level then as an organization too?
Because you need to, because machine learning, like again, it's not plug and play.
Correct.
Even the RPA stuff is not plug and play. So you need to start somewhere. And to me, it's like starting with the easiest low hanging fruit.
Correct.
And because a lot of people get caught up, I'm like, there's a lot of hype around AI, machine learning. How do we apply this already? But it's like, just start with the basics. Like, find a process where you have really manual transactions. A lot of people doing like shit work that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
Maybe even data entry work, or they're putting PDFs into Excel, and automate that. And then you can start seeing it's funny because we work with an organization who didn't know anything about RPA, and they started the process. And that was the gateway to them getting into and learning about machine learning, them learning about digital transformation and blockchain, and then they, the organization is called NAL Resources, and we help them with RPA. And now they launched like a blockchain, like one of the first oil and gas blockchain ledgers, and all because of RPA.
RPA. So that was the entry point.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So, from an advertising perspective, obviously there's been a lot of AI-esque stuff. Programmatic
Correct.
has always had a sort of AI-ish component to it. I think you're going to see a lot more around marketing automation. Obviously the HubSpots in the world, they're including machine learning into their platform. You see Salesforce including a ton of machine learning into their platform.
Microsoft is having Microsoft BI.
Azure,
Azure. So one of the things we're seeing, because we're a HubSpot partner, we're lucky from that perspective because the platform we position for our clients, HubSpot is actually investing a lot of AI and machine learning into it. So lead scoring in marketing, for example, can be predictive, done by a machine learning. And the way how we apply it for clients is we do it manual first because, as you know, the machine needs to learn with existing data.
Sure.
The beauty with the HubSpot platform is that they have data because I've been working with a lot of clients globally. So the AI kind of somehow have the basics of being, educated on one level, but then we adjust and we reapply it for specific organizations. So then it can detect when is the right time to send an email, what's the subject that you should send the email with, and open it. So it's not guessing anymore, it's science at the end of the day. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is chatbots and AI enabled. So instead of having a lot of inside sales manager that are having a chat session on the website, you can slowly apply AI into that. And as soon as the conversation goes into more of educational about not just the product, because AI can do that, that's easy, but more about, what's the challenge, why the customer is not really stepping into the next level in sales. This is where AI engage an inside sales manager, and then the inside sales manager connect with the chat, and then plug them into their own sales process. So we're seeing that HubSpot started actually going deeper more into that, and we're slowly kind of applying this in our delivery with our customers as well. So I can see that.
No, I think the chatbots have been. I think the promise of chatbots have been greater than the actual practice of chatbots, and I don't know if humans have actually embraced chatbots completely.
Tell me more. Why are you saying that?
Well, I mean, 2 years ago, when everybody thought chatbots was the thing, and everybody started building chatbots, and pet chatbot companies, and just ask how many people have actually engaged with a chatbot. Not that many. You look at Facebook chatbots, people are not using as much as they can, and people don't want to talk with a bot.
Correct. You need to speak to a human, right?
Yeah, they want to. You know, when I call Rogers to change my bill, I don't want to talk. I'm pressing 0 as much as I can to go right to a human. I don't want to go a chatbot.
So, you know what? And so I challenge is, what if the person you're chatting with, you don't know if it's an AI or not? So
agreed, but it's not there. But what I'm saying is that it's not there yet. It's it's still I think it's just not there yet.
You don't see it yet
I think
maturing.
with normal human beings, they want to speak with other human beings, and especially when from a customer service standpoint.
Oh, of course, you have to.
Even like I see people using Facebook chats on Messenger. It's annoying. Like they keep on messaging me things on Messenger.
This is outbound, and you're right. It's not the new way of marketing. I totally agree. I guess.
I don't. The promise is. I think it's a nice complementary tool.
Yes. You can't rely 100% on it.
Not yet. Yeah. If you don't know that it's a chatbot, then that would be perfect. But
you know what? What I have seen two companies are doing differently from an AI perspective is HubSpot and Drift.
Yeah.
You heard about Drift,
yeah.
I'm sure. So what they're doing is they're applying some of the functions of chatbot, which is scaling, answering the basic questions, and then as soon as the question gets more complex, and from an AI perspective now, they know that it really needs a human interaction, then at that point in time, it switched transparently without you knowing that you're not chatting with Sahar, you're chatting with an AI.
Right.
So then I get notified, and then I can see the history of the chat. So that's kind of where the handoff, I think, is what some of the organizations are fixing right now to make it more successful in implementations. But I like your.
Yeah, I'm not as convinced 100%. Yet. I don't think it's there. It's there.
We need to convince you then. That's.
Well, I need to go. I need to jump on like a platform
and see.
And use it seamlessly. Like I still think that I don't know. I don't
human to human. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Who are some influencers that you sort of watch that you love engaging with, or that you love? They're doing some amazing things within the marketing sales space.
You know what? I think, first of all, I just want to say my dad is a big influence for me.
Yeah.
I lost him to cancer a couple of years ago. But I learned a lot from him just because he always leads with humility.
Yeah.
And I think this is a big thing for if we think about it from that perspective, I think it will change a lot of things. Now, from industry influencers, I think one of the main things, of course, Dharmesh Shah.
Yes, HubSpot.
We are following them. We're trying to understand what they're doing and how they're doing things differently. We're a proud HubSpot partner, but we're learning a lot from them, to be honest. The difference we're seeing is that, of course, they're a platform-based organization, we're a services-based organization, so we want to kind of learn from them how we can take what we're doing and be more helpful for our clients. Tesla. And what they're doing and how they are marketing and how they are messaging and X-Space and where they're going. To me, this is kind of a new era of how things being done. So even though some of their stuff is B2C, but it's human to human at the end of the day, so we take some of that and try to apply it for traditional B2B organizations. Amazon and what they're doing and how they're taking over retail market completely and changing the industry there. So we've been watching some of that and just kind of understanding what they do. So back to you, Sean. So
yeah,
who do you see as?
I'm a big audio guy, so I'm always, I think for me it's like I love what people are doing. I love what Shopify, for example, is doing on the content marketing side of things. Their blogs. I love from a podcast standpoint, like I love what Gary Vee's doing and just pumping out consistent content that's always really fresh and really good. From a video perspective, like I really love what Neil Patel. I don't know if these guys from Kissmetrics.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
It's they're always pumping out video all the time. I think
the founder of Moz. I forgot his name now.
Rand Fishkin.
Yeah.
I haven't watched his stuff though. Again, like I'm a huge audio guy, like podcasts. So I just love really great content, Freakonomics, and like the way that they actually do it. So I think, I love vloggers too. I think there's some amazing vloggers out there they're doing their thing. My wife just started a vlog. I think vlogging is totally underrated. I know YouTube has been out for 12, 13 years, but I think vlogging has just started. Like, people want to see the behind the scenes and what's happening.
Yeah.
I want to get into that more. I haven't got into it yet.
You were just sharing with me your travel schedule. So tell me more about your travel schedule.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, over the last couple of years, I've been speaking a lot more, and just because people want to know about the work that we were doing in digital and innovation and how this will sort of impact them, and that just translated into just people just want to hear more about how all this stuff is impacting them, and it's taken me to amazing places, and this summer it's like it's going like gangbusters. It's like every week there's 2 or 3 things that I'm going to, and
wow,
and it's a busy schedule, but I think for me, to share the message around disruption and innovation is really important, especially here in Alberta, especially here in Canada, because I think this is going to be the gateway for us to actually get into some bigger and better things. I mean, especially here in Alberta, we've been so reliant on oil and gas, and we've been so we're just getting fat, lazy, and rich off the amazing resources that we have here. And I think for us to really get to the next level, we have to focus on innovation, and we have to focus on things like AI, and just do things differently. And if I can sort of carry that message and get at least one person to think about innovation in new ways, like, to me, that's a win.
That's a success. That's a transformation, which is exactly what you're all about.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I appreciate that. Yeah, cool.
So and for me, I'm always like interested in getting to know guys like you, because I want to know, like, what do you think like the future looks like? Like, what are the innovations that you're sort of excited about, that you're looking at, that you're
And you know what? And I'm glad we're connecting and we're having this conversation, because Flawless and I've been following you. We can see what you're doing, and we're very actually proud of everything you're doing.
Amazing.
Because you're helping carry the message. We can see you as an evangelist that are actually educating organization of how they should think differently, because that helps actually in our execution and implementation. So the team actually have been following what you're doing and
awesome.
the messaging, and we're really looking forward to doing more of that.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So, thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thank you.
And
This
it was
awesome.
a pleasure. I love the coffee, and we should do this again.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Awesome.